The Square Ball Podcast.
Well, we are rapidly running out of summer updates. Welcome to the show. Dan here with Michael and Dean as we wrap up stuff that's actually happening now.
Football games.
Yes. We can't go any further without mentioning the lovely folks at Levi Solicitors. And we say that as it's renewal time almost, isn't it? So we really like you, Levi Solicitors.
Great bunch. I'm always saying they're a great bunch of lads and lasses. And they do lots of good services. The wills, probate, conveyancing, of course, being the big three.
Indeed, yeah. That Sky money, still no sign of it.
Never mind.
Didn't want it anyway, did we?
No, we turned it down on moral grounds.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Not Levi's, though, because we like those guys. LeviSolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Into it then, and football has started happening. Thank the Lord. We can talk about football again. Going up as effing champions?
I think everything is heading that way, yeah. I'm assuming Hanover are the best team in Germany. And so on the evidence of last night, we're just going to romp the league.
I thought they were in the top division, I have to say, prior to this.
Hold on a minute.
Just going to say, where are they?
They are Bundesliga 2.
Right.
But they are amongst the favourites for promotion, I did read. So they're meant to be good at that level, and we absolutely destroyed them.
Right.
So transposing one to the other, and there's in the English second tier, it's going to win 4-1 most weeks.
Are they comparable? Championship, Bundesliga 2?
I don't know, Dean.
You've got an extensive European knowledge, I heard.
Let me just check into my systems. Yeah, it's the same.
Good.
It's the same.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're both 7 out of 10 divisions.
They finished 6th out of 18 teams, so says Wikipedia, for last year.
Right.
So that's that. I think it'd be silly to try and pretend this show is based on anything other than Wikipedia. But what we do know is that United are back. They looked absolutely marvellous in that yellow kit. Up against Hannover 96, and they won 4-1. Matteo Joseph probably stealing the headlines, suddenly turns up looking like a 30-year-old man.
It is noticeable when you see him celebrating with amongst other players now that he's just the same size as all of them. Whereas when we first saw him, you still were like, oh, he's still a little bit childish. But now he looks just built for it all of a sudden.
Because one of the goals, a bloke bounced off him.
Yeah, that was the second one where he's kind of over towards the byline, just collecting it in the box, and someone tries to nudge him out of the way, and he just goes, fuck off. And then he passes it to Bogle, who then passes it back to him, and they score. It's a really nice finish, that one, as well, because it looks sort of simple, because he just taps it in, but he lets it come across his body.
Simple to you, maybe, but what about the layperson?
Well, true. But yeah, he kind of lets it come across his body and just left foot into the corner. It's nice.
It's a proper striker's finish, isn't it? It's the kind of thing we've been screaming out for years. Bamford, I mean, if he ever recovers, God bless him. Would he have managed to make that look as simple?
He'd certainly have taken it on his left foot, Dean.
He would. Well, yes, of course. But to see Joseph charging around, barging people out of the way and getting goals has to be a good sign for that part of the pitch going into the next season.
He's got the air of the young lad who's just joined the team of door staff and he's looking for a little bit of bother. Do you know what I mean?
Very much leaning on your nightclub experience.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay. That's what he's got. Like, so all the more like experienced senior ones are trying to kind of rein him in a little bit, hold him back.
They're the ones who are doing the actual dealing.
Yeah, and obviously you can't take people off where the CCTV, where they know the coverage isn't. There's a black spot for the CCTV coverage. Just a little. No,
I don't know.
Don't know if it ever happened.
Don't know if that sort of thing does go on.
No idea. But I'll tell you what. That young lad, Brendan Aronson, our new number 11, did you see the no-look reverse pass to feed Ilya Gruev, who put that keeper on his arse and made him look silly?
Gruev bursting into the box was the main surprise of that.
Maybe that's the version 2.0 Gruev that we're going to get this year, box-to-box midfielder.
It's possible. We do seem to be set up a bit differently to last season. Like when you see it's the second goal where Joe Rodon's like Bielsa pressing, he's up pressing their fullback, and you think, fucking hell, what's going on here? This is not something we did last year. We sort of stayed in structure. Whether or not we're going to actually play like this, I've no idea, or whether this is just like a little, we're going to go big on it pre-season, but then it'll be reined in for the actual games. I don't know, but it was quite impressive.
Yeah, and I think something different that we've not seen much of before was Ampadu next to Gruev. Normally it would be one or the other, but that was certainly the setup in the first half before Rothwell came on. Maybe if Ampadu is in there sat, it does give Gruev a bit more licence to burst forward and put keepers on their asses, because it's a nice goal. It's a great goal.
Not covered in glory with the old Strauch-Mellier snafu just before their goal, but Pascal's looking amazing in the photo shoot for the kits, isn't he? So
good practice for Mellier dealing with some tricky back passes, and that's why he did it like that. He could have just put it straight to his feet, couldn't he? But he was like, "No, I'll put it high." It's a good finish as well, in fairness.
Let's blame the pitch. Let's blame the pitch. We don't know the pitch, then we're not allowed in to look at the pitch as fans.
That's true.
So let's just assume it's just awful.
I was going to say it looked like a council pitch near some houses, wasn't it? So it does explain why they probably didn't want Leeds fans in Germany.
You would like to think if they were planning on having a crowd in there, that have gone something a bit bigger than that. Because it did look, it looked very training grounded, didn't it?
Yeah.
But no, overall, I've watched the highlights and then I've watched the full 90 with fairly liberal use of the skip button, admittedly, like when they've got the ball or it's out of play. Let's see what's happening in 15 seconds. But everyone looked pretty good, I have to say. And I think they might win the league.
Do you think they have got the new kit bounce? So we've heard of the new manager bounce. Do you think that they all seem very pleased with the new shirts? Do you think that they have lifted their game because they're in that gorgeous yellow?
A friend of mine, Neil, messaged me and just said, he said, this sounds silly, but we look like Leeds United. And whilst that's it's self-evident, I also know what he means. It's familiar because we're in all yellow. I look at it and I go, yeah, that's us. That's the us I remember.
Does that mean anything?
That's the us I remember.
Is looking like Leeds United a good thing given our history? Would it not be better to cosplay as someone more successful?
We got promoted in 1990 wearing all yellow. We won at Bramall Lane to effectively seal the title in 1992, all yellow. It's what we do.
There have been other
best.
Yellow kits in between, but we don't need to dwell on them.
No, I'm just concentrating on the ones that back up my stupid argument.
No, and I suppose I can't fault it then in that case. Yeah,
but it is the Dream Away kit for anybody over a particular age who's been lusting for this, and apparently it's sold massive numbers, probably a day one sellout for the batch that they got in. Gather they're getting some more, I think, in a couple of weeks, so I was told.
They order them from DHgate, I think, the club.
Is that right?
So when Adidas run out, they just order a load off there.
Just bring them straight in.
Yeah, it's more or less the same, they said.
Right, okay. Big sellers in the old XL size, apparently, so that perhaps, does that indicate
the dad purchase?
The demographic that's going after this?
I think that style-wise, maybe we are harking back to the days when everything was just oversized. People just want that slightly bigger feel. And we did a show the other day about the AC Milan game at Ellen Road, and those shirts were huge on all the players. Maybe people are just trying to emulate that.
See, because I want a sponsor-free one, I'm going to try and shoehorn myself into one of the largest kids kit I can find.
Yeah, that was always the good thing about the Macron kits, wasn't it? The early Macron kits, is that you could be guaranteed it would be sponsor-free within about 3 washes.
Hey,
there we go.
Free of all branding. Now, I must admit, we spoke about the kit the other day, and from the pictures we'd seen, I was like, I'm not sure. But then you see it on like Matteo Joseph and Pascal Strauch, and you're like, yeah, it looks really good, actually. In a game, it does look class.
Professional athletes make sportswear look good.
Yeah. They tend to go for that with just modelling in general, like in shape people and stuff, and they do make stuff look better. But yeah, I think it looks great, and I've really liked all the promo stuff around it as well, and the little glimpse they've given us of the other products that are in the range as well, with the Willy Nonto and Georgie in the white one, and then there's Joe Rodon zipping up a tracksuit, which looks good too.
So. Georgie in a hat as well, which made me smile. I don't know why. Just Georgie in a hat.
Looks like he's festival ready.
Yeah, he does. That's exactly it.
We didn't even mention Georgie in the Hanover stuff, did we? The weird
that
little
footwork. It wasn't weird. That was brilliant. What is it?
What is it though?
That was an artist at work.
Like there's certain football moves you recognise because they're like, things get names, don't they? Like, or they're popularised by like Zidane or Ronaldinho or something.
The Normanton turn, for example.
For example, yeah, slowly,
like an oil tank.
The Normanton slow turn and chase of a winger,
grunting.
That was always my move. The misplaced pass into midfield.
We just want Georgie doing Georgie things, don't we? That's a great example of Georgie things.
What was that thing that he did though? Was it was just sort of dragging it from foot to foot, wasn't he? Before he just passed it off. It was like, I don't know, almost like a kitten playing with a ball of string or something like that, batting it away and it'd come back.
He manages to make it look like an accident, but he does it all the time.
Yeah.
And it's never the same thing either, as far as I can tell. It's always just something else that you watch and you go, what's this?
That's why I enjoy watching him.
It was great. And he did get a nice assist as well. He put one onto him with the move we're talking about. He did put an onto him after that. But then he also played Pirro in, didn't he, with a nice ball after Joe Rodon's pass. And Pirro kicked it dead hard to score.
I'm being semi-serious when I talk about a new kit bounce. I think there has to be something in the players feeling good in what they're in, feeling like it represents them and their sensibilities. You just alluded to your career in nightclubs.
I mean, it wasn't really a career, Dean.
Turning up to nightclubs.
It was something I did for a number of years, keeping a roof over my head. Go on.
But I don't know if I've mentioned it, lads, but I'm an actor. Have you heard this?
Yeah.
Something from me.
Yeah.
But when
you only mention it every morning.
Well, there is that, yeah. I make you salute me. But there is something about when you're starting a new job, when you get your costume, you put your costume on. If it's the right costume, you feel $1 million, and you go into that role, into that workspace, feeling ready for it.
So as an actor, how did it feel holding that golf sale sign?
I felt fantastic. I got a real good spin on it after a while. No, but there might be something to that, you know, that they just feel like they are decked out and it feels correct, and they're going to go and win every single game.
I know what you're angling at. Yeah.
It's a pulling shirt is what they've got on. That's what it is. It's like, it's got my best shirt on here.
Right.
There you go.
You're going out, hoovering up the ladies.
Yeah. Back on the bus at 10:30.
On my own.
On your own, yes.
On my own. Yeah, that's very, very, very important.
Of
Let's run through the goals then. So 1-0, Aronson, no-look reverse pass, grew over rounding keeper, as we said. That was awesome. I think he could do all right for us this year, Brendan Aronson. I've said this for a long time. I felt like there was a redemption arc there for him. I know he was a bit of a rat bastard last year, but
if he can stand up, he's fine. Like, he's good at dribbling.
He put on kilos eating all those sausages in Germany, so, you know, maybe he's ready for it now.
He doesn't strike... Like, you look at Joseph from a couple of years ago and you go, actually, yeah, bloody hell, there's a hell of a difference there. I don't think Aronson looks, on the face of it, any stronger. But the thing is, you don't need to look strong. Lionel Messi never looked strong, did he? But he also could just go around people all day.
He's the Medford Messi. I'll tell you what was confusing. Yesterday, Eurosport came on, and the Olympics haven't started yet, but the Olympic football always starts slightly ahead of the opening ceremony, the sort of tournament itself. And it was USA against France, I think it was, that came on my TV. But the first player that I saw was Aronson.
Yeah, of course, Paxton.
But I just glanced at it. I was like, but he's with us in Germany. What's he doing there? And then I realised. But
got off to an interesting start, didn't it, the Olympics football?
Yeah, the Argentina thing. Do you see that?
No, I didn't see this.
They scored an equaliser in the 15th or 16th minute of injury time at the very end of the game. Did it basically kick off a riot that meant it was delayed, but then it was ruled out by VAR?
But then the stadium emptied, essentially, because they booted everyone out. Because it all... I've not seen any footage, I've just read about it. The game, it all kicked off, so everyone left the stadium, and then VAR went, actually, that goal didn't count anyway.
So they ended up ruling out the goal about half an hour after it was scored or something daft, wasn't it? Yeah, so it ended up 2-1 to... I can't remember who the play was.
Morocco, yeah.
Yeah, wild scenes. But yeah,
well organised.
But I saw the equalising goal going. I thought, bloody hell, that's a late goal, and then I think must have turned over at that point. I didn't see any of the aftermath. But so 2-0, some excellent pressing in that one, and Rodon was pushing right up, as you were saying. Ruta sets up Pirro, who did what any good striker would do, following your advice.
It was quite essential, actually, the kick, but it was so hard.
Yeah. 3-0 was a really, really basic goal on the surface, but something I really enjoyed seeing Joseph do, which was just to run in behind the centre half, and ball just went down the side, and he just put it in like normal strikers would do.
He stood behind the defender. That was his trick.
Yeah.
Couldn't see him then, could he?
No, ghosted in behind him. Then it was 3-1, and then 4-1. Yeah, Bogle involved there. Got himself an assist. And it was, that lovely little finish from Joseph, who, angled his body in such a way as to be able to put it in with his left foot. Very nice indeed. Captain and leadership group.
When's the next game? We don't know.
You'll find out soon. Ampadu is captain, with the big sexy pirate and Ilan Meslier as his hype man. What do you think about that?
Makes sense, I think. He seemed to do a lot of captainy stuff last year anyway, did Ampadu. Young but very experienced already. He's going to play every game, isn't he, when he's fit? Because I think that's the thing with Cooper's kind of been captain for a while, but not actually being an automatic starter, which has been a bit of a weird situation. But Ampadu will always play. So.
And I think it's proper confirmation now that Cooper's not going to be around, because they wouldn't strip him of club captaincy if there was a chance he was going to be back in the building. Yeah,
it always felt like there's another offer on the table, was a little bit of window dressing. I don't think he was ever going to stay, was he? Particularly not with his kind of goodbye sign-off at Ellen Road. It always felt like a farewell, that, I think. But he leaves with our best wishes, doesn't he? He's been a huge part of what's happened over the last 10 years, sometimes for better, sometimes for worse, but mainly for better, I would have said.
He'll get a championship club, I'm sure. Or maybe just take some money. Goes to Saudi for a bit. Why not? They love the glamour of the Premier League, and Liam Cooper is pure glamour, I would say.
Jan Poveda hasn't gone to Sheffield Wednesday. He's gone to Sunderland on a 4-year deal.
Via the high seas.
Yeah, because he was wearing
his pirate fancy dress.
Yeah, he was wearing a lot of rings, wasn't he? In the signing photos. I mean, a lot. Like there were at least 4 on one hand and at least 2 or 3 on the other. Yeah,
he's gone a bit different in style as well, because he's always been quite blingy as Poveda, but this is more. It's got more of a goth look to it as this new phase that he's going into. Yeah, it's all like, I imagine there's like skulls and crossbones on it and stuff.
I don't know what it says about me, but looking at that photo, I just thought that's going to take you ages to get through airport security. Just removing every single one of them, going through. It'll bleep because you've forgotten one. Yeah. Come back through, take that one off, go back through. You're missing your flight. Made me anxious.
Strikes me though that Poveda would enjoy the ceremony of taking them all off.
Right.
In order to demonstrate the wealth and kind of go, here I am, taking all my rings off. Look, there's another one. That was expensive. Look at that. One of them actually looked a little bit like a ring for Spectre. You know, the James Bond people.
Right.
Oh, okay. I don't know. No. So
you're saying he's working for them?
Well,
that'd making him an enemy of the British government.
I mean, I don't want to slander the man.
Sure.
But maybe he lives under a volcano in Colombia. Who knows? Who knows? But he's gone to Sunderland rather than Sheffield Wednesday. I don't know if you caught any of the noise around this. The suggestion was that Sunderland have offered him like 40 grand a week, something like that, which Sheffield Wednesday, like he was all set to sign for Wednesday, but then has done like an 11th hour U-turn and driven up the A1, A19 to get to Sunderland and signed there instead for more money.
That sounds like a lot.
Does sound like a lot.
Yeah.
He was on a lot of Leeds though, wasn't he, apparently?
Apparently so, yeah.
From his, but I guess it's the path you go, isn't it? You go Man City.
Yeah, and because he kept moving around clubs for free, so obviously they're going to be demanding bigger wages to offset any fees to clubs and signing on fees or whatever.
Well, good luck to him, apart from against us. But he needs to go and play somewhere, doesn't he? Because he just hasn't particularly settled anywhere. So,
and did I see somebody on Wacko say that he's not even totted up the equivalent of 30 games worth of
minutes,
across his career so far? And he's
I can believe it.
24.
Yeah, it's quite. Given is Ampadu the same age and has played about 500 games? Like, just go play somewhere, Ian.
Yeah. 16 days and 1 hour at the time of recording to the kickoff against Portsmouth. Do you feel now we've played against Hanover 96 of Bundesliga 2 that we are more ready than we were? Obviously, by definition, we've played a game now or another game. But you seeing it, do you feel like we're more ready?
I feel like we're ready to romp this league.
Yeah. Well, we are going to do a prediction show, aren't we, in the lead up to the first game of the season?
Yeah.
And we're going to review last year's predictions shortly and going to put that out on the members show. So TSB Plus members, have a look for that one in your feed. See how wrong or right indeed we were. I haven't listened to the clips. I haven't listened back to that. I know you have.
I have. It's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
A mixed bag.
I feel good about this season.
I am slightly going over the top with saying we're going to piss it, but it feels like it's in decent shape. And it's just nice to see him again, isn't it? There's a pre-season's always like this. There's always a bit of them, even in the shittest seasons.
Yeah, maybe this is the season where we've wiped the slate clean and
you have a little look and you're like, I'll tell you what, Simon Johnson's going to come through from the youth team this year. That's going to be good, and then it just doesn't happen.
What do you think of Farke's transfer talk in terms of people he wants to add? A bit more cover at full back and a central midfielder, but only at the right price and if it's the right person and all that.
Sounds sensible. We were talking not long ago here that there was a lot of business to be done. We've added Bogle. Is that it since then? This was when Rothwell was still in the building, and I still think there's a fair amount to go unless he's very confident with some of the youth coming through. I think Charlie Crew will get minutes this season, and I think that would be exciting to see him coming through. Hopefully Joseph, but I still think that we need a little bit of work on the squad. And what's Wobber doing? You know, Verber, is he in the building, or is he trying to find his way out? I think there is still plenty to do in those 16 days.
Yeah, he's a bit of an unknown, isn't he? Because he's definitely with the squad, and it seems like they're planning for him. But equally, you won't be surprised if when he's away from the team, he gets back to his room on the phone to his agent, like, fucking hell, get me out.
What, spending time around Willie and Cree and Georgie?
Georgie doesn't want to leave.
No, I'm not saying he does, but those three are the thickest thieves kids, aren't they? As Farker would tell you. So they're going to have their ghetto blasters on or whatever it is kids these days do.
Pogs.
Yeah.
What else are kids into?
Oh, the Coca-Cola yo-yos, that kind of thing. Oh,
that's hot stuff, yeah.
But yeah, just as Farker described, just a dreadful noise coming out of those three. What they're like on tour, it's like a big school trip for them, isn't it, going to Germany?
I mean, that's the other transfer thing that still it will feel unresolved until the window has closed, won't it? Summerville and Nonto, because there's a lot of talk and has been for ages.
Which Farker acknowledged as well.
Yeah, I kind of still expect at least one of them to go, but we'll see, I suppose.
Who do you want us to bring in, given your in-depth knowledge of the upper reaches of the EFL?
Oh, probably Peter Smithies, who's a promising young winger at Lincoln.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, made that up.
Right.
Who would you like to see was bringing?
Todd Cantwell.
Todd Cantwell.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I'm only saying that because apparently he's asked for a move or whatever from Rangers. So it wouldn't be entirely surprising, would it? Although I think Farker and Cantwell did fall out a bit at Norwich.
Yeah, well, Cantwell fancied himself for a move, didn't he? I'm pretty sure there was a moment where we'd gone up, they'd gone down, and his agent was trying to link him to Leeds, I think. And then for like 25 million quid, and then in the end, didn't he go to Rangers for like 30p?
Yeah, given my general lack of ideas, thinking about Rangers, thinking about Leeds transfers that have been rumoured for a while, Ryan Kent would be the obvious winger to bring in.
I've not actually seen that. There's a link this summer.
I don't think it has been, has it?
Why?
Don't know.
It's about time it was brought back, I would say.
Well, he's not at Rangers anymore, is he? He's in Turkey.
Yeah, he moved, didn't he? It doesn't mean we can't be linked with him.
Fair enough.
It's only right.
Come back with an absolutely brand new head of hair and teeth and all that. Where have you been, Ryan? But yeah, have you found yourself a little bit sort of mentally divorced from transfers this summer?
I had
to check out when we sold Archie. It was just upsetting me.
I do try to largely ignore them because you can get too invested in stuff. If you can be linked with a player, then you spend an hour or two reading stuff about them. Then
you watch a few YouTube videos, you've fallen in love.
Then it's just announced that they've signed for Stoke, and you go, all right, well, that didn't happen. Fine.
It seems like a lot of the time, agents or journalists will throw Leeds' name in there just to bump the price up or the amount of clicks that you get. Across the week, I saw that we were linked with Smodics and Harrison Burrows, who's a left-back from Peterborough. Apparently, we've never been in for them, but people were just saying that to drive clicks to a website or to drive price up a bit.
It was specifically Darren McAntony, wasn't it, the Peterborough chairman, who happened... I think he placed Leeds as transfer adjacent, rather, as a phrase we've been using recently. Yeah, he didn't say they're in for him, but he said Leeds in the same breath as, he's set for a big move. Leeds have been doing some good business this summer, that kind of thing. He knows what he's doing, the little tinker.
We're just being used. We're not a piece of meat. Like, we are a serious outfit.
Do you feel used?
Personally, sure, yeah. Yeah, fine. No, I think we do need business. I wouldn't be happy starting the season now with the squad that we've got, but it's closer than it could have been. And especially if we keep hold of everyone else, if there are no more outgoings, if they're being serious about the only big sale we need to be young Gray, then I'm happy if we add a couple.
Yeah, I think so. There's probably a little bit more cover needed midfield and somewhere in defence. Given the flexibility of Byram, and if Verba stays, for those two to cover fullback positions, I feel like we're probably kind of all right, but we're into, like, De Bayo's playing in pre-season, isn't he? And he was not someone who was particularly near the team last year, so would I feel comfortable if he had to play? I'm not sure. And
you've got to remember that the feeling as fans is vastly different now in the summer. It's nice and warm out. You're looking forward to wearing your new yellow replica shirt in the stadium and stuff, but it's the grind of November, December, January, February, and the game's just coming relentlessly. You're sick of a couple of players because they're underperforming. Just change it. Do something to change it.
Pat Bamford, is he going to be fit this week? Who knows?
That's his adductors again, isn't it, that have given him bother?
There's always something, don't there?
Yeah, not to be confused with abductors, which are also muscles and people with vans.
Also that. Be careful of both.
Well, unless you've got anything else to add, we will wrap it up there then. We all done for today?
That'll do, won't it?
I think so.
That's us done, isn't it?
That is, wow, it is. Yeah, so we are away, you and I, next week. So no up-to-date shows.
No,
but there'll be some glorious shows anyway. So we're going to be speaking to Ali from Not the Top 20, which is a Championship EFL podcast. Find out what the outside world thinks of Leeds. It's always scary, isn't it, getting outside your echo chamber? I'm going to speak to Ali, so we're going to record that tomorrow, but that's going to go out at the start of next week. We got a wrap-up show for the reviews that we've been doing on the members show, which is we've been scoring the various members of the squad on, I was doing coffee and cake scale, you did the Ofsted school report scale, and Rob, you're not Rob, but you can be for the purposes of this.
Sure.
Was doing it on Mo's scale of hardness, everything from butter and chalk up to diamonds and shit. And then we've recorded a look back on the Blackpool 5-0 game, which might not be a treat for the ears unless you view it through the eyes of Alex Cairns, who's returned to Leeds and was on the bench that night, but only for half the game. Spent the other half of the game on the pitch because a bad thing happened. Look out for all those next week. We'll be back the week after to preview the actual start of the season.
Wow. Actual. And also talk about the 2 games left to go in Germany, 3 games, and 5 games,
all those wins,
no games,
all those goals.
All those goals.
The secret ones. We'll see you soon.
The Square Ball Podcast.